This is me.
Hey guys, it's EJ. I'm here to talk about Chapter 6, Narration, so let's get started. First, when we talk about narration, we're always talking about a narrator. And it's safe to say that every story has a narrator, just like every story has an author, but keep in mind that the two are not the same. Narrator is more like a storytelling tool, but a very complex one. In order to analyze a narrator, we have to ask ourselves, does a narrator narrate everything? Not necessarily. This can be shown through direct discourse and indirect discourse. Direct discourse is when a character is talking, versus indirect discourse when the narrator narrates what the character says or does. So it goes the same with direct and indirect thought. With indirect thought, the story shows the character's actual thoughts, versus when the narrator narrates what the character thinks. We consider most narration of thought to be thought report, and the fluctuation between direct and indirect narration is called free indirect style. This can be shown through many narratives that have stream of consciousness style or other forms of narration. Another question we have to ask is, how reliable is the narrator? Reliability is important for the way a story is framed based on how accurately the narrator tells the story. Three elements that help us analyze a narrator as well as their reliability are voice, focalization, and distance. Voice is who we hear in narration. It may be first person.
Have you ever felt like you were a little bit different? Then you know exactly how it felt to be me.
Second person, which is much less common.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension.
Or third person.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Some narrations are a mix of both first and third person. In the Avatar: The Last Airbender opening, for example, Katara is narrating the show's history in third person, but switches to first person when she is describing her personal experiences.
100 years passed and my brother and I discovered the new Avatar, an airbender named Aang.
This example actually also brings us into focalization. Focalization is a better term for point of view. With the Avatar opening, the focalization is on the Avatar, but through the lens of someone who isn't the Avatar, in this case Katara. This sets viewers up to watch the show through the point of view of a witness to the hero's journey as opposed to the hero himself. Distance refers to how close the narrator is to the story, whether they're an omniscient outsider who knows all and is farther away, or a character who witnesses parts of the events firsthand and is closer. An example of an unreliable narrator is Nick Carraway from The Great Gatsby. The distance between Nick and the story depends a lot on Nick's relationship to Jay Gatsby, which could be interpreted as overly idealized and affects the way that he portrays Gatsby.
His smile was one of those rare smiles that you may come across 4 or 5 times in life. It seemed to understand you and believe in you, just as you would like to be understood and believed in.
So that's it for my presentation on narration. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.